creative friends, this is Joy coming to you with another art journal page in my Dinah Wakely Media Journal. So this page, I just put a bunch of watercolors on it when I was playing around with my watercolors. And then I also got this collage media book from Dinah Wakely that I decided to cut out part of this page and make it into a tag to put on this art journal page that I'm creating. So here I cut out the image, and then I cut the sides of it to make it into a tag, and then I punch a hole in the top of it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this page when I start, I'm just kind of like figuring that out as I go. And so once I did that, I decided that it needed to have some ink around the edges. So this is a StazOn ultramarine blue ink pad. So I'm just putting that around the edges of the tag. And then I find some ribbon in my stash to add to this tag that I thought would go well with the tag. So I put that through the hole, and then I have my tag. So at this point, like I said, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I just kind of winging it as I go, trying to figure out what to put on this page. Like I said, the background is just where I slapped on a bunch of watercolors when I was playing around with my watercolor set a week or so ago. And so I decided that I wanted to put something else on the tag, and so I got this Dinah Wakely washi tape that I decided to add to the bottom of the tag with these little hearts. So I put that on the tag, and then I have these images, this Dinah Wakely stamp set, and there's one I hadn't used yet. So I decided that I would use that on the page. And I want to do layers, but in order to layer this on there, I'm going to have to stamp it on a different page. So I grab another journal that I have and my StazOn black ink pad, and I ink it up and stamp it on this journal. And then I decide that I don't want to just like cut it out and put it on there, white. I want it to have some kind of color. So I grab my watercolor set and decide that I'm going to use it to color this image so it's got some color to it before I cut it out for my page. So I had some green on my palette, and I wanted to make kind of a blue-green color. So I'm just adding some blue to the green that's already there. And then I quickly add that to the image to color the image in. And as you can see, I'm not being real careful because I plan on cutting this image out. I'm not going to fussy cut it out because I don't like to fussy cut, but I just kind of like generally go around the edges of it. So I do go over the edges a little bit so that when I cut it out, I don't see any of the white paper. So then once I have that image, I do quickly cut it out of the page here and then set it aside to dry. And so then I decide that this background needs something more, and so I'm looking through this journal where I stamped a bunch of images in, and I find these words that I thought would go well with this art journal page, and the words that I picked out was worthy, brave, and strong, and this is from another Dinah Wakely stamp set that I have. It's the one that comes with the faces of the girls there, and so I cut those out. And I look to see if there's anything else in here I might want to use, which I did not find anything else in here I wanted to use, but I did, still want to add more to this page. And so I decided to get a book text page and to color it, paint it red so that I can cut out a heart and maybe put that on the page. because I like the little hearts on the washi tape, and so I decided I want to put a bigger heart from the text page onto the page. And I wanted to color these words. I didn't want to put them on there white like that. So I used orange, purple, and yellow to quickly put some color on these words. So that's what I'm doing here. Just kind of quickly use my watercolors to color them. This brush I'm using is a water brush, but I don't have any water in it, so I'm using a jar of water that I have setting to the side there. So while all that dries, I decided I wanted to add more to this background, so I pull out this stencil and my black StazOn ink pad again, and then use a dauber to put the ink through the stencil so I could get some of that on the background. Now this ended up on my stencil really sticky, and StazOn is permanent, but I did take this to the sink, sprayed it with alcohol, and scrubbed it, and I got most of it off, but it's, I didn't get all of it off. It's stained, but that's okay. Not worried about that. So then I decided to do a border with this stamp that's got circles. So I'm just using it and turning it, different ways to add a quick border around my page. So that's what I'm doing here, and I kind of get mixed up or messed up at the top because I run out of room, and then I try to right there get the big circle lined up, but it didn't quite line up, which is fine. And then I wanted that big circle in the corners. So, I mean, my frame or whatever is kind of wonky, but that's okay. And I don't know if you can hear that, but we're having a really big thunderstorm right now. So here I quickly just cut out this girl from the piece of paper here. And like I said, I don't fussy cut, I just generally go around the edges and cut it out. And so I can put her on the page. And like I said, I wanted to kind of do a layered look with the tag, the girl, a heart, and then my words. And then with my words, I trim them down. I guess you'll see that here in a minute. And here I wanted to dry this because it wasn't completely dry. So I'm drying the page. And then I cut out my heart that I want to put on the page. And I'm checking to see if it's the right size that I want it to be, or if I want to cut it down more, and how I want to place things on the page, how I want to stack them. And I decide that, yeah, I like the size of it, and that's the size I want to go with. So I take up my watercolors again to quickly color that edge that didn't get colored in red. So that's what I'm doing here. It's just covering up that red, or that edge that didn't get red, and like I said, you can't even tell that I went back in with that and just dried it real quick. And then I wanted to go around it with my black StazOn. So as I'm going around it, at one point I kind of scuffed it up right there, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that. So I kind of went over the top and kind of scuffed it up some more, made it look a little more distressed. So here I've got my images, and now I've got my words that I want to cut out, and I decided to cut them into little banners to add them to the page as well. And then once I get the little banners cut out, I do go around them with my StazOn ink, the black StazOn ink pad to put some around the edge of those and to scuff those up a little bit as well. And then I have one more thing that I do at the end to finish this page off. And pretty much, I mean, this is the page. And so if you guys like this video, you can give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel to see more. I'm actually about almost halfway through this Dinah Wakely Media Journal, and most of the pages, if not all of them, that I've done in this journal, I have videos on my channel showing you how I created them. So here I'm just finishing scuffing up those banners. And to adhere all of these down to the page, I decided just to use double-sided tape. I mean, I guess I could have used a glue stick or some, some other kind of tape. I don't know. Anyway, it was there, so that's what I grabbed to stick it down. So I stuck down my tag, I stuck down my heart, and I decided just to use it to stick down the girl, but I wasn't going to be able to put double-sided tape on her legs, so I decided to use a glue stick for her legs and for the banners. So I put double-sided tape on the body, and then I used a glue stick, like I said, for her legs, and then to adhere the banners down to the page. So once I get those down, I felt like that bottom right corner, I don't know, it just seemed like it needed something down there to balance the page more. And so I have this other roll of washi tape where I add a bit of that too. So thank you for stopping by and watching the video, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.